Hi, I'm Kelsey Law with Soccer One, and I am here with the infamous Tony DiCicco. How are you?
Yeah, infamous is about right.
It is about right. I couldn't think of any better way to describe you. Can you kind of give me some insight into how you're feeling like the draft is going to pan out as of right now, how things are now?
Well, it's an interesting draft because it's not the deepest draft that they've had. Last year was a deeper draft. So that means there's going to be players that coaches are unsure about that are going to become stars in this league. And that's always neat to see when somebody emerges. We all kind of know the first 3 or 4 picks. But there's going to be players after the first round that I think will become great pros. Because here's the neat thing, Kelsey, these players will keep evolving. They finish college, it's not the end of their evolution, they're going to keep evolving, and then all of a sudden you have a player that is pretty special, and that's when Jill Ellis needs to take note.
Are there any special players that stand out to you in this draft?
Well, I mean, everybody Sonnet is already been recognized with the national team program. I really like Westphal.
Yes.
Kristen Westphal. She's, I'd love to coach her because I think she can play every position.
Right.
She played center back at University of Florida, but she can play wide in defense. I think she can play in the midfield. She's very comfortable with the ball. So I'd like to see how she's utilized in this league. And then Abby Smith, the goalkeeper from Texas. And when I look at goalkeepers, she's got all the qualities I want. She's a tremendous athlete, great kicking game, really big upside to her game if she gets the right coaching and keeps it developed. So,
are there any players that you think are kind of coasting under the radar that are going to be big stars that people aren't necessarily noticing at this point in time?
I'm not, to be perfectly honest, I haven't studied because I'm not coaching in the league, so
Yeah.
I know the first couple of rounds of players,
Right.
but there's going to be somebody that is under the radar. I know that Williams for Florida State University, there's a lot of coaches that like her, but they're not sure she's a good enough soccer player. She's a player that I would take a gamble on,
Right.
because she's got the things you can't teach. So that's what's going to make this draft fun.
And you coming out of a World Cup year and winning the World Cup, what do you think that did for women's soccer?
You mean back in '99 or
This past year?
Oh yeah, I think it's phenomenal for women's soccer and girls soccer. They, a lot of I do clinics or even at my camps, and I'd be talking to young girls. They weren't even born in 1999, So now they have World Cup champions, the Carly Lloyd, the Alex Morgans, the Klingenbergs and Morgan Bryants that are, they're heroes, and they see them, and they don't have to try to remember what Mia Hamm played like or something. So I think it's awesome. For me to see that team so happy was really rewarding for me.
Did it bring back some good memories?
Yes, it did. It was seeing them so happy, accomplishing that, becoming Olympic gold medalists and World Cup champions at the same time. It certainly brought back memories to my feelings when my team won in '99.
What is that like to win a World Cup? I can't even comprehend what that would feel like.
Well, it's a little different for the coach and the players. For the coach, you kind of go through this period of relief.
Right.
Okay, you accomplished it. We were the host country, and so there's a relief, and then there's a tremendous exhilaration that we came together, and it hasn't ended. I'm still fairly close with a lot of my players, and which is really special for me. So, we have now a bond for life, and I think this current team will have the same bond for life.
Well, and we just came out of the World Cup, like we were just talking about, and then next year is the Olympics. How do you think that impacts the teams that they're constantly losing their top players for, during the season, moving into those games?
Well, when the NWSL has to release players for training camps and for games, it definitely is a disruption. And here's the fact. The fact is that the national team for these players is more important. They're playing in the Olympics. It's more important.
Of course. Yeah.
So it might be different in men's professional sports where their livelihood comes from their club. Really, for our women on the women's national team, their livelihood comes from the national team program. So it'll be disruptive. The coaches will have to be creative.
Yeah.
But another great opportunity for players to emerge. And this is something that when I was commissioner of the first league, we had 4 subs, and then a 5th sub had to be a goalkeeper designated player. And this would be a great year for them to allow a 4th sub, because now even if you put a player in for 10 minutes, because you know you're going to have to use her, she's going to have to start in 2 weeks when the national team players leave, that's going to help her. It's going to keep the product up high. And, so I would like to see them adopt that. They're not listening to me, trust, but
You never know.
a 4th sub, I think, would work in a year where there's going to be a lot of disruption.
And then NWSL is a fairly new league. How do you see the future of this league panning out?
It's pretty exciting. When I was commissioner of the WUSA. We lasted 3 years. We did a lot of great things. The level of competition was incredible. We had, we were averaging 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 a game, but we went out of business. Then the WPS, I coached in that, was also pretty exciting. We had, again, all the international stars, but we only lasted 3 years. Now this team's going into its fourth year. There's been no retraction. We've actually added 2 teams. They're up to 10 teams. To me, that's really shows that this business model is sustainable, and that's exciting.
Are there any immediate challenges?
Yes, of course. There's teams that aren't drawing very well. There's teams that I think, whenever it's pro sports, so we've just watched what happened in St. Louis with the Rams going to LA. There's teams that, the owners might not be happy with the league and so forth and so on. But for the most part, I think there's still a commitment to keep evolving this league. It's gotten better on the field every year. This will be its best year on the field. And for us fans, that's exciting.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to talk to you.
My pleasure.
It's great to see you.